Hey there, and welcome back to BSing with Why You Go Why, the veteran run podcast where we keep it real, raw, a little bit rock and roll. I want to give a big shout out to Ed, the man behind Static Shift Radio, holding it down for indie rock artists and keeping the scene alive. Go show some love and check out the new website where you can find Static Shift Radio Station and upcoming events. That's staticshiftradio.com. And he can also be found on Instagram at Static Shift Radio. I also want to welcome the Ferg from Static Shift Radio and Retro FM Podcast. Next, we have Reggie, the great beats creator straight out of Colorado. They'll be co-hosting with me tonight, and give a shout out to these guys because without them, you know, it wouldn't be as fun. So, all right. Today, we got a killer band in the house, Awaiting Abigail. They're bringing the hard rock, the heavy riffs, and some serious energy. Can't wait to dive into their story and hear just what they've been up to. So let's get into it. And at that, I'll turn it over to you, Ferg.
James, Abby, thanks for being here with us today. James, I'm going to direct this first question. I know you'll know how to answer this one. Before Awaiting Abigail, you guys played together in the 90s, three of you. You guys went to school together and so forth. What was the band's name at that time? And also, what was it like on the local scene playing in Dallas, Fort Worth there during that time as grunge and alternative was big? Was that your style? And I know that's kind of two or three questions in one, but
No, man, that's perfect. First of all, thanks for having us. But yeah, I can take you right through that. So Heather, the drummer, and bass player Lori and I went to high school together. We were like just a couple band nerds. Heather played the saxophone, I played the trumpet. Lori was in color guard. So we knew some stuff about music. We're talking like we were like 15 years old. We started playing some cover songs. Poison, Motley Crue, so we totally started in hair rock. The name of that band was called Wasted Youth. It was so corny, but we played a couple parties back then. Remember those days of bands would play at parties?
oh man, yeah.
Yeah, it was good fun. We played a couple parties, and then we were really too young to play in any venues. So what was going on in Dallas Fort Worth at the time was Pantera had just broke out with Cowboys from Hell, and literally down the street from where we are right now. And they had followed, kind of a similar trajectory. Like some of their early stuff, like people call that hair metal and stuff.
Right.
They had just broke out, and a couple of the bars that they were playing at, we were kids, like just chomping at the bit, like, man, we're so young, but we want to play these gigs or whatever. And so then we met our another guitar player, and he walked in. And honestly, Heather had listened to a little bit of heavier stuff. I hadn't really, but we had another guitar player that walked in, and he was playing Slayer and Metallica, and I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Yeah, so I started listening to all that stuff, Master of Puppets, all the good stuff, and he got us turned on to that type of music, and so we got a new singer, rebranded the band, and we were Anathema, and that was we found out later they're actually, I think maybe in Australia or somewhere. There's a band called Anathema. It's a totally different kind of music, but we were like Slayer. We would cover like Obituary, stuff like that, and we had some originals. That kind of was our first time to start playing in clubs. So we're playing venues, but it was all in the wake of Pantera, other bands around here that were really making it kind of at the time, not out of the area necessarily, but were around. Disciple, Gamma Side.
Oh yeah, I remember
Disciple. Yeah, some of these guys have gotten back together recently, with different lineups. But anyways, we were just kids, but we got our first gig in a hole in the wall called Joe's Garage. But Joe's Garage was the center of Texas heavy metal back then, and a legendary place. We played our first shows out there. We did Dallas City Limits, the basement. There's a couple videos of Pantera playing in the basement, is
Oh
the
man.
venue. Yeah, it was good times, man. We were just kids, and we were opening, and then we finally moved up to where we could headline and stuff. And I've still got our picture of it saying Anathema on the marquee at Joe's Garage. But we were just having fun, and we were young, 17, 18, and then we had a little bit of a lineup change, and like you said, grunge was kind of becoming a thing. And so with our new lineup change, we kind of shifted from what I would call death metal or heavier metal. We shifted to more of like Alice in Chains,
Okay.
Rage Against, Rage Against the Machine type style, but all original stuff, the occasional cover. But that's in Tool. We were really into Tool at the
Oh
time. You know,
yeah.
Undertow had come out. Yeah, so we were playing. That's kind of what our original is. If I go back and listen to like our CD from 1995, it's like a mashup of like all those bands. She doesn't remember 1995, but to answer your question, that's kind of how the three of us. That's how we kind of came up. And then I was in college and bowed out gracefully. I was majoring in music at the time at a local university, and was going to be a band director. And so they were starting to play. They were starting to play a whole lot. And it was kind of going towards, and the name of the band was Lost Reality. And
Oh, okay.
there's still some stuff on the internet and on YouTube from Lost Reality. But I kind of bowed out on good terms. Like, hey guys, things are getting busier for me, and I'm gonna have to be doing stuff. But that's kind of where I was, and I was about 21 when that happened. And they kept playing for a couple more years with Heather and Lori in the band.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
So, what sparked the reunion flame that led to the birth of Awaiting Abigail?
Well, like everybody got a new hobby during COVID, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some people bought canoes. Some people went hiking. Some people bought campers. I had always wanted to get back into playing rock and metal and stuff, and I legit sold all my stuff in my early 20s, and during COVID I thought, man, I'm gonna start playing guitar again, and it's a secondary instrument to me, anyways, because like I said, I'm more of a jazz trumpet player, but I called Heather up, and I mean, I'd stayed in touch with her loosely, class reunion, stuff like that. I'm like, hey, would you want to jam again? She's like, you got a guitar? And I was like, yeah. So we started jamming again. So probably around 2020, 2021, we were just kind of playing some songs. I had some riffs, and some of it ended up being, a lot of it ended up being what's on that EP, but it was real slow moving. Like, we were looking for the other pieces and the right people. You know, Heather had been in a bunch of bands. She never stopped playing. She went on to play in a band, all-female band called Faded Grace, and they kind of made some noise regionally, and they had split up because of COVID around the same time. So she kept playing in bands, and we just started jamming again. She brought her drum set over, and we started jamming, started thinking about putting some pieces together, and whether or not Lori would do it again because it had been so long, and you know, the grind of being in a band, and had all the usual like things. Like, as an adult, you approach it differently, right? Like, you don't want drama, you don't want to be wasting time, you want efficient rehearsals. Yeah, so kind of approaching it as an adult, and we hammered out these. There's actually like 10 tracks, but the EP that you hear now, it's 4 of those 10, and we just worked them up. We just worked them up and hit up our recording guy that we actually used his dad to record us back in the 90s, and Alex Durst at Empire Sound here in Dallas, he followed in his dad's footsteps, has a really nice studio, and so he knew who we were because we're kind of the same age. We hit him up and we're like, hey, we have a band, and we want to come in and record some rhythm tracks. We kind of have some ideas on some vocalists. We think we want a female vocalist. And we came in, laid down the tracks, and then basically we're having auditions in the studio. Because, I mean, like, we kind of, you know, our stuff wasn't, like, super complicated or anything, but we laid the tracks down, and all that was missing was a vocalist. So that's where she came in.
And see, that's awesome because you're leading into our next questions, which was going to be, did you expect the reunion to turn into this? And then how did you guys discover Abby? And Abby, what was your reaction when you found out they were naming the band after you?
Oh, when I found out they were naming the band after me, I was ecstatic. We didn't have a band name. We had a show at Trees, but we didn't have a band name at that time. So we were like rushing to like find band names. We were just like rhyming different names. And then you said Abigail first, I believe, right?
Yeah, I wanted to, you know, like, so there's a Japanese death metal band called Abigail, right?
Yes.
So that's like, that was off the table. But
Okay.
so essentially what we had was she came in and rehearsed with us, and we knew right away with her pop background, and like she already had a decent chunk of stuff on her YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, she's got the chops. It's just if she would want to do rock and roll or not. And it's funny because I equate it to a dating app, but we were on Bandmix.
Yeah.
Bandmix. So you go through Bandmix, right? Not endorsed, by the way. In fact, I think we both accidentally still have our subscriptions we need to cancel for that. But you know, it's like a dating app. You scroll through there and look at different people. So I'm looking at vocalists, and I see, because she was 19 at the time. She just turned 20 not that long ago. So I'm going through there, and I'm like, 19. I don't know about that. But her interests were very compelling. She had Fleetwood Mac. She had Evanescence was listed. You know, and then she said she was open to. So, but really, so she was on a short list, right?
Yeah.
We had a couple of other people come audition or whatever, and they were fine, but it wasn't like the sparkle. You know, it didn't just click. And we had her send us some covers. I was like, hey, maybe send us some cover songs of some Pretty Reckless. And she sent them, and they were great. Everybody's like, well, she's definitely got the chops. So then, really, the real
Which
test
song
of being
was
a
that,
band
by the Pretty Reckless, by the way? Which song was it?
I believe it was all Witches Burn.
Yeah.
Was the
Witches Burn, and
Witches
then
Burn.
we were doing like
We had 3 options.
Death by Rock and Roll,
Death
but
by
then
Rock and Roll.
you picked
Okay,
a little
yeah.
Yeah.
But she sounded great on them, which we all were happy because we were like, okay, this is good. But then we were thinking, okay, we're sitting here with this 4 tracks of rhythm only. Really, the real test is going to be, can she write to this? So those first 4 songs that are out right now, we basically handed her those and said, hey, can you write to this? And she said, sure. And we were kind of like, I don't know, maybe she can, maybe she can't. And then about a week later, she sends me the first one. She was down in Houston for, which is where she lives.
Okay.
We're in Dallas. She's up here for college. But so she sent us. It was Bad Mind was her first one, and we were like, she just did it like in her home studio.
Oh wow!
Like, wow,
Nice.
She blew us away with that. So we were like, okay. And, you know, I didn't know how long it would take her to do more tunes or whatever. So then she started working on, I think second was Falling Under.
Yes.
And she sent that like a week later.
Yeah.
And I was like, she's got a funny story about how she wrote it. That's when she wrote the song. But she basically pumped those out like one a week over 4 weeks. And, you know, at first I was like, you know, how serious is she? She was very persistent. She was like, she said things like, when is our band rehearsing? And I was, which I thought was adorable, but I was thinking, it's not, it's not your band yet, you know? But she was very sweet, very like, but very
Sure it was.
consistent. You know, like a 19-year-old. There's a lot of versions of 19, right? You could be 19 and totally irresponsible. You could be 19 and on it, and she was on it. So she knocked out those 4 songs as far as writing the lyrics and melodies to them, to those pre-existing rhythm tracks, and then I'll let you tell them how you when you did it.
I was working with my boyfriend at Meals on Wheels, so every time I would take the stop, I would be like, "Ooh, I have an idea," and I would listen to it the whole time. So I had a lot of free time during that time. So that's kind of why it was like picking up.
Were you driving while you were?
I probably don't tell Meals on Wheels that, but but yeah, I was driving, and when I would stop to like give to our clients, I would like have an idea, and then I would write something down, and then I'd listen to it and kind of sing to it, and then I'd be like, nah, and then I would change it. So it gave me a lot of free time to work on those lyrics and listen to it over and over again. So it was really fun.
You mentioned Evanescence in there, and the song Falling Under. I think that's where we can hear some of their influence on that one, as that ominous music is opening up on that track. And then it's almost like you skirt the edge of darkness a little bit just to bring us back to a change in the tune there. And that one's really fun, but I hear that influence on that one readily.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I grew up with Evanescence a lot. I would listen to a lot of her songs. So I definitely would say my melody style is kind of in that realm when it comes to rock, for sure.
So do you guys mind if we play Bad Mind for the audience?
Yeah.
No, let her rip.
All right.
All right.
Now, let me know if it's too loud or too low. I'm going to share it. Too low? Too loud? You guys can hear it? Can you guys hear it or no?
No.
Let's see here.
It's just staticky sound.
Let's see here. All right, let's try this again. How about that?
Yeah.
We need to turn it up.
I think it's good.
Yeah, you got some guys in the audience. They're like, good. Yes.
When your world is falling to pieces, just got to remember this one big fight. One step in front of the other, that's all you got to do. One step in front of the other, survive a bad mind. One step in front of the other, one step in front of the other. One step in front of the other. That's all you gotta do to survive a bad mind. Bad mind. They always tell me you got to be free. But what the hell does that even mean? When your worst enemy is trapped in your mind. Such an actor, cause I fake everything. Till the sun goes down, I'm truly dying. I know the best to let the tears fall out. You just got to remember this one big fight. One step in front of the other, that's all you got to do. One step in front of the other, walls feel like the that's just how life is. Feel like you won't get better again. You're wrong. Gotta look at the sky and love. It'll be alright. What you want will come in time. I'm here with you. Just take my advice. What's at the front of the affair? That's all you got to do. One step in front of the affair to survive a better mind. One step in front of the affair. One step in front of the affair. One step in front of the affair. That's all you gotta do to survive a better mind. A better mind.
Y'all got a fan in the comment sections for sure. All right. That was amazing. That was a
Yeah.
She did pretty
So-
good. We didn't know if we were going to mess that one up or not.
Yeah.
Good run through.
Good run through. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Abigail, how wild was it, the leap from theater stage lights to headbanging in front of the rock crowd?
It was super fun. I enjoy it. I love kind of incorporating the crowd with me. That's a theatrical thing I kind of did. I love pointing at the crowd and like dancing with them. It's really fun. I love the theater stage, but you have to stick to a script. Whereas when you're performing in the rock band, you could kind of like play around with things and like feed off of the energy of the crowd. It's like kind of different in that sense. So I would say I really enjoy it. I love looking at the people's faces and seeing if they're enjoying it or not, and then I know kind of what I need to do differently next time. But yeah.
We would be remiss if we didn't actually explain like how she got into it. It's very interesting. So we had, after she sent the songs to us on her own like home recording studio, she came up and she did. We're actually in our practice facility right now here. She came. Yeah, shout out to Platinum Music. Dwayne's around here somewhere. He's the owner. It's a crazy awesome place. But anyway, she came and rehearsed with the band one time, and then the EP, as you hear it right there, she went right into the studio and tracked that after one rehearsal with the band. So that's how adaptive she is. We didn't go like there wasn't a lot of practicing with us, and she didn't need to. I mean, she'd already composed the music. But anyways, so we're like maybe 2 rehearsals later. The EP's done. We've got a gig coming up that we had to make up a name for.
Yeah.
She tells us out of nowhere, she's like, "Yeah, I'm named after King Diamond's album, Abigail."
Yeah,
We're
my mom's
like-
a metalhead. She's a metalhead.
We're like, "What? Why didn't you tell us that before?" She's like, "I don't know." But yeah, she could tell the story. Her mom's definitely a metalhead. She's very cool.
Okay.
And she comes to all our shows. But she was like, she talks about rebelling. It's kind of funny. Tell them that story.
Yeah, my mom, she would always like force me to go to all those metal shows when I was little. And so I think that's why I did pop music. I was like rebelling against the rebeller. Because she was a huge rebeller, like with her band. But then she was like, "You have to get in a rock band." And so that's when I was like looking up, because I was like, yeah, I love pop music, but like I love to work with other people and create something together. So that's when I found James in the band, and she was like ecstatic. She was like, "I knew you're gonna be a rock star," and she's just like a heavy metal lady. Just imagine that, like a blonde heavy metal lady. She goes to every single concert in like Houston, and she'll even like go to Dallas sometimes to see concerts any chance she gets.
Yeah, she's
So-
cool. Shout out to Stacy.
Shout out to Stacy.
Thank you. Shout out to Stacy. Well, you know, there's a rise. It seems like there's a rise right now in rock and roll and heavy metal of a lot of female-fronted bands. In fact, we have a lot of them playing on Static Shift. But you're seeing a rise in that, and something that I've talked with bands about. It's amazing to me. There was a time when it was harder to do this. And even though you were allowed to perform and play, you weren't widely accepted in the genre by your male counterparts as much. But now I'm seeing the male band members really embrace the front women and embrace female rockers and heavy metal artists. I'm seeing it all across the board, and it's kind of a breath of fresh air. Wouldn't you say that that's kind of liberating, but also that means a lot to you to have that support?
Yes, it does. It truly does.
Yeah, Heather, our drummer, has great stories from when she was with Faded Grace. They played locally, like I said, and regionally, and she has a lot of stories. But one of them that really sticks out is she said that they played a show, and some guys came up to her afterwards. It was an all-girl band, and some guys came up to her afterwards. They're like, "Man, that was great. You guys sounded just like dudes up there." And they were
Oh,
so offended.
God.
They were like,
Dang.
"Yeah, I mean, can you imagine? That would have been like probably 2010." But I agree with you. Like, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of female-fronted bands, and we're female-fronted, sided, backed.
Yeah.
We got
Right.
the only dudes in it are myself and Mike, the two guitar players. But yeah, I mean, they rock, and it's cool because now it's kind of like a post that ideology. I think like it's not even a part of the conversation anymore because everybody's so proficient at their instruments in every band that you see out there. There's just
Heck
literally
yeah.
no question about whether. But where I thought you were going with that is a lot of young people, man, are just discovering rock and roll. There's a resurgence for sure of rock and roll and metal amongst young people. They've never heard
Absolutely.
it.
And that's what got me started doing what I'm doing. When my podcast partner and I started doing what we were doing, I was amazed that, one of my heroes obviously is Gene Simmons of Kiss. I'm a big Kiss fan. And Gene had said a couple of times that he thought rock and roll was dead, but then I keep running into these young people that are embracing it. So I was like, no, dude, I love you, Gene, but I got to disagree. Rock and roll is really alive and kicking. And I was probably going to bring this up later in the interview, but since you brought it up, the biggest show that our rock community is still alive and is not going anywhere was recently with the passing of Ozzy Osbourne. Did that affect you and the band at all? What impact did that have on you guys as a band, the loss of Ozzy and those events?
I would say that it affected anybody that's a musician that plays anything remotely heavy or close to anything. It definitely affected them. I saw a really good article, and I can't cite it because I don't remember who wrote it, but it was kind of like an antagonist view, like, why are all these people mourning the loss of? He was an icon, but they didn't know him, and I guess the retort to it was everybody remembered growing up hearing a song, has a memory of what they were doing at that time, remember what the world looked like at that time, like what was the world news, what was their personal life like. Like he literally was there for every decade for most of us that have been, And so it's not just the man, but it's what he did and also the music that he left behind. We have an emotional attachment to, And that really made it make sense for me because, you don't want to see, like, I don't know, people just making a deal out of it to make a deal out of it and not really have a connection. But that cleared it up for me. Like, that is our connection to him and his body of work is that it's been the soundtrack of our lives. Even if you weren't a continuous listener or like a super fan, you still knew the songs, the ones that were on the radio, and you knew the popular songs and what part of your life you were listening to it in. So it was always there. But yeah, definitely a loss. But I mean, wow, what a goodbye, even though he didn't necessarily know that was goodbye. What a punctuation mark on his career. And
For that last show.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you think Youngblood's going to step in his shoes or try to, huh?
I don't know. I don't know how that'll all play out. Those are big shoes to fill. So
That
somebody will have
definitely
to,
is.
yeah, somebody will have to have big feet.
Yeah.
So,
Well, if
what would
we
you
can
say?
go ahead,
What,
Robert.
what would you say your favorite show this far, like, is right now? What has been your favorite show?
That we've done?
Yes.
Oh, by far the whiskey
Yeah, the
a couple
whiskey
weeks
go
ago.
go.
Yeah, by
Yeah.
far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
That
me and the
place was,
Ferg watched y'all's video.
Yeah.
dude. There's more to come.
There's so much.
We have so much media from that. They had a package where you could buy like this 12 angle video thing. We've got so much raw material that we can make we plan on making a live music video from it. We've got all the individual
Awesome.
tracks from each
Nice.
instrument. I mean, the energy there and like just the whole trip for us was like,
Super fun.
it was a total blast and
Just
great crowd.
yeah,
Did you
just from the
guys get to
videos we've
meet
seen.
Tracy Guns?
Yeah.
Yeah, just from the videos we've seen, it looked like y'all had a great time out there.
Yeah,
We did, for sure.
we did.
It's a blast.
Heck yeah. Well, what was one of the coolest experiences out of that whole show? And talk about the crowd reaction there at the whiskey. I mean, that place is legendary.
I enjoyed backstage, honestly, because we got to meet a lot of the bands that were going on before us and after us. And everyone was super nice and humble, and we were all just like talking about it. And you also could see like there were stickers backstage of everyone who played there. It was really cool to see who else was in that room before us. I would say, yeah, that was really cool. And also, speaking of Ozzy Osbourne, when you would walk down the stairs, there was like this picture of Ozzy Osbourne. It was one of his cover arts or whatever. It was up there, and it was really cool. And I was like, oh, Ozzy Osbourne. And that was like right before he passed away. It was like a couple of days
Yeah.
Right.
before he passed away. So yeah, I would say that's definitely my most memorable. The crowd was really fun. I definitely think we got a lot of new fans. I saw a lot of people when I was walking afterwards. They came up to me and they were like, "Y'all did amazing! Like, we're gonna listen to your music. We got some of your merch," and it was honestly just like a really humbling experience. It was awesome.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking about your shows, I see that y'all have one. Well, you have several coming up, right? San Antonio, August 15th. You
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
Dallas,
next week.
August 17th, and then Houston, October 12th, which you're probably going to see me out there because that's you're only 3 hours away from me. So
Ooh, yeah, that's my hometown, Houston. So I think that's gonna be
nice.
a big one for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna
That's
have to come
awesome,
out there
man.
and
Yeah,
check you guys out.
You should. That'd be
that's a pretty good stack of bands. You know, Scotty Austin is headlining that show, and we're looking forward to doing that. And that's Abby's first hometown show. So we're excited about that.
Nice.
Oh,
That's
that's
got to be a
awesome.
good
I
feeling.
didn't know you had Scotty Austin coming out there. That's pretty awesome. Heck yeah.
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 Yeah, my buddy Steve played with him a lot.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Heck yeah. That's awesome you guys got him coming out. That's heck yeah.
Yeah.
Robert, do we still have Reggie? Is he with us?
Looks like he's still in there. He's been having some technical difficulties on his end.
Struggling.
Reggie, you got something for Awaiting Abigail?
Yeah, actually, I had a couple questions about speaking about big artists and big shows. You know, what would be your guys' favorite shows so far?
From other people.
If you want to talk about other artists and shows that like we would want to be on, is that the angle
Yeah.
you're going?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I would absolutely kill for us to be able to open for the Pretty Reckless or
Oh,
Hellstorm,
Or Evanescence, my favorite.
Evanescence. I mean, we'd play in the parking lot, dude.
Literally.
heck yeah.
That would be awesome.
We would play in the parking
I
lot.
think
There's one guy that made a video picture comparison. He's really cool, man. He's making a bunch of free reels for us, like almost every other day. But he made
Cool.
this comparison between her and Taylor, like
Oh,
picture wise
I
and
didn't see
everything.
that. I need to look.
It's awesome. It's like, look at the resemblance or whatever, and it's there are kind of some parallels, you know, like Taylor was obviously in the movie business first before she was a rocker, but yeah, any of those bands would be, I mean, Lacuna Coil on the list, I mean, any of those, but I would say Pretty Reckless and Hailstorm in this moment.
Heck yeah.
That's our goal.
That would be
Would
cool.
be to, yeah, for sure.
that would be awesome. I think I would play in the parking lot too for Evanescence. I don't know anybody who
No,
wouldn't.
I love Evanescence. Me and my boyfriend saw them, and we actually met her, Amy Lee's sister, and she was really nice. But I would kill to
Wow.
play for them. That would be awesome.
Wow.
Oh, that would be pretty dope.
Yes.
Well, listen, I
Okay,
know
so
we want to ask you some more about some of the songs, but please tell me and tell everybody who designed that badass band logo you guys got.
I know, it's so crazy, man. So like we said, we were in this situation where we literally didn't have the finished product of the EP. We had rough mixes, so we had rough vocals, and there was a show coming up in December. So this was probably September of last year, not even a year ago. And there was this showcase coming up at an iconic venue in Dallas in Deep Ellum called Trees. If you look it up, there's like a famous thing that happened with Kurt Cobain and back in the 90s. But even before that, Trees has been an icon venue. It's very much actually laid out like the Whiskey. It's a very similar type of venue and same, legendary history. I mean, not quite, but so there was an event coming up called Women in Metal Showcase in December. Well, the lady that was in charge of it was like, hey, are you guys ready to play? And I sent her a raw mix of our music, and she was like, awesome, we're putting you in on the opening slot. And we're like, oh my gosh, our first gig's going to be at Trees. And, the other band, we had played there, the three of us, like 1995 is the last time I played there. But so she picked us to play in the showcase, and we, at the time, didn't have a band name. But we were still, like, literally spitballing, like, Abigail. It can't just be Abigail because the other band. And
Right.
so
Yeah,
my response to her was like, well, we'll do it. Can you help us think of a name real quick? But anyways, we just kind of talked back and forth, and we decided, this really needs to be, like, we all enjoy playing and everything, but we want this to center around her and her voice and everything to be built around her. So it was only natural. And Awaiting, everybody's like, is she always late? She's not late. But, I guess we were waiting for her.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
I guess we were waiting for her, and then she, But so there's I legit just put a post up in my very small personal world of friends or whatever, and said, need a band logo. And one of our buddies, now, I didn't know him at the time, Matt Story, he used to be the vocalist and front man for Creeper.
Okay.
Creeper, yeah, Creeper is very popular around here. They've been together for a long time. He used to be their front man, but he is in the graphics business and also IT, and he does band logos. And he just, I gave him free reign. I was like, we need a logo. And man, there were a couple tweaks. I was like, yeah, do this, but that's all him, man.
Yeah.
And he just knocked it out of the park with the logo.
Yeah, he killed it.
Killer logo. We love it.
That's
Yeah.
that's a
Super
badass
sick.
logo.
All right, so
We love you,
next
Matt.
I wanted to ask about how you guys make your music. So do you start with just a riff, a hook, an idea, or you see something funny online and you decide to make a verse about it? How does that come about for y'all?
There's a couple different ways. So we call it the blender because there's four of us that write, and we all four write very differently. I I just kind of riff around on the guitar, like and find some riffs that I like. That's kind of where that EP came from, was just different. And then in places like getting out of the way to make room for a vocalist. When I was younger, I'd be like riffing through the whole thing, and like there's constant movement, constant changes. So like later on, you realize kind of less is more. And if you've got a vocalist that you actually want people to hear, then you've got to play your riff, and then you've got to get out of the way for a bit, right? So that's how I write. And then Heather and I jam just guitar and drums, and we kind of work out a form of verses and chorus. And the same thing with Mike, the other guitar player. He writes riffs, and then we kind of put it together, and then bring it to Abby. Also, Abby writes and has a catalog of pop music. And so we've done 2 adaptations of her pop music. And one of them is actually so hot off the press, it's sitting in my Dropbox, burning a hole in it. We've got 2 songs ready. Yeah, we've got 2 songs, man, that are mastered as of last night and ready to rip. And we've just got to do the formula thing. We did our own thing on the first 4 tunes because honestly, we didn't know if anybody's going to like it. I mean, and we didn't know if our first gig would be our last. So we had no idea. And so we released those 4 tracks December 1st, December 8th, December 5th. Those all staggered a week apart leading up to our first show at Trees. Totally unconventional release, but for all we knew, that was the beginning and possibly the end of our, not to be negative, but we had no idea what the reception would be. So now with these 2 tunes, I think people are going to be encouraging us. People are going to be encouraging us to do the actual format and kind of do tease it out and that kind of thing. But man, I can do it. I have the discipline, but it's hard. Like I want to throw both of them out there like 5 minutes ago, because they're both very different and they're both killer. One of them is one of the adaptations from one of her songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, I hear you guys mentioning the getting used to the format for being digital music nowadays. How big of a change is that from going to get something pressed up and handing out flyers and CDs compared to having to be active on social media and shooting content and things for your music when you didn't have to do that before?
Yeah.
Man, that's been a steep hill to climb for sure. I barely had a Facebook before we even started this whole thing, and then it was like, oh my gosh, we've got to have a Facebook, we've got to have an Instagram, we've got to have a YouTube, we got TikTok, and Abby's good at that stuff, but like it's not like you would think. Like you would think that she's kind of an old soul. She's very mature for her age, and but like we're learning together.
We're all being thrown.
Yeah, we've been thrown into it. We've been thrown into it. So anything that you see is us just like
Figuring it out.
trying to figure it out as we go. But it's very different. She obviously wasn't around for that, but the rest of us absolutely getting a CD done and getting it printed and then going out and putting flyers on cars and all that stuff. Totally lived that life as a teenager, early 20-something for sure. I remember going to the malls, man, with a stack of flyers handing out to strangers.
Yeah.
Should have threw them in the trash, like right as they walked.
Stick them under their windshield wipers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's how you used to have to do it. It's funny seeing the differences now. So when you guys are building,
like crazy.
when you guys are building your music or writing, are you all writing together? I know you said you and the drummer work together, and then you bring it to Abigail, or do you have group sessions?
Yeah, it's interesting because it's part, I guess, maybe a takeaway from COVID when everybody was working alone and collaborating, online. So a lot of times, well, now what we do is I'll put something in Pro Tools, and I'm not an expert user by any means, but I'll get Pro Tools going and get a grid going, get some riffs in there. It's kind of funny, like Heather, if she was here, everybody's driving home from practice right now, but if Heather was here, she would be like, I finally got him to quit putting drums in there because I did have like just some drums I dropped in there for ideas. She didn't want to hear any of it. Like she wants to come up with her own thing, which I totally get. So like the way that we write is we'll be have a riff and then kind of get it into a click track, and then if we, it's like, well, this is too many times, or this is not enough times, or maybe this is not the right riff for it. A lot of cutting and pasting, and then we go into the studio with a scratch track already there. So our sound engineer is able to just open the file, and we immediately start tracking drums. So a lot of it is collaborative, and it's not. I mean, we rehearse together as a 6-piece band, probably maximum of twice a month.
Okay.
And then occasionally we'll have some sit down, like Heather and I will jam. Mike, the other guitar player, and I making sure like we're muting stuff the same, playing stuff the same. But we'll have some small breakout sessions. But for the most part, it's done through text and digitally, emails. Listen to this, check this out. Be able to play along to this next rehearsal, and then, then of course we get together and everybody kind of has a different input or whatever, and whoever song it is kind of has an idea, but sometimes it ends up being totally different, and that's kind of what's cool about it. That's why we call it the blender.
Nice.
Since you
Okay,
said
I
that,
mean, so far it's working.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
if fans walk away with one feeling after hearing your music, what do you want it to be?
Feeling?
If you wanted them to walk away with one feeling.
I would say inspired, because I feel like our music is kind of like very like diverse, like range wise. We have like sad songs, we have heavier songs, we have things about certain topics. So I guess just honestly, inspiring to them, feeling related to.
Yeah, exactly. Probably empathy and with themselves. Like Abby's work resonates with a lot of people because it's experiences a lot of people have had, whether it's about a mental health struggle or an abusive relationship or whatever. I recently said we had a written interview, and I said sometimes it's either her singing from her point of view or from a fictional character's point of view. And I said in general we're a happy band. Like we're not singing about like guts and gore or anything. Although that I like a lot of that stuff for myself to listen to personally, but in general, we're kind of like a positive message band, and that's really not on purpose. It's just kind of how it worked out. But I said in this written interview, I said whether it's Abby that's singing about herself or she's singing about a fictional character, sometimes it works out for the person, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
But so I think what we want them to take away from it is what she said, like inspired and also related to empathy, identifying, like people identify with the music.
Awesome answer. Awesome.
And helps them get through whatever they're going through.
Yeah, maybe it's inspirational. I got an email from a guy the other day that was like, man, y'all's tunes are my workout. Like,
that's awesome.
yeah, it's my workout routine. Yeah. So, and you know, somebody else, I don't know, maybe it helps them work through. Maybe they take the words to heart and realize they can work through things, you know, one step at a time.
Yeah.
With you saying
Well, we're
that, there's a
definitely
song.
adding those 4 records.
Okay.
Yeah, not trying to trying to cut it. I was going to ask you about the song "I Hate You" because with you saying all that, you said that song was a response. It was kind of a response towards gossip and drama. So talk about that song a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, it was about drama within like high school, college, whatever. A lot of drama. I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. But it can be honestly about anyone. It could be about family members. It could be about friendships. It could be about coworkers, bosses. Like, honestly, you name it. I feel like that's kind of why we came up with I Hate You. It was originally Mean Girls was the name.
Yeah.
But we were
Right,
like, you
and
know what?
the
Let's
intro
make it
sounds like something off of
softer.
Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is actually the only tune that I've really collaborated with her lyrically, because I'm not a lyricist at all, but I'll just write down like stories and ideas and then hand it to her. And really, we don't care if she uses it or doesn't use it. But I was a school teacher for a really long time, and I saw all of that stuff. You know, I saw like kids being mean to other kids and stuff, and you know, I don't want to go the other way and be like, well, you know, everybody's a bully, because that is a part of growing up, right? Like how you interact with other people. But I saw like, man, I saw girls be so catty to each other, and like, and then the social media thing, people just tortured, you know, to the point of suicide and stuff.
Yes.
And then also, what was it? A lot of my kids were watching it at the time. It's kind of gone off the rails a little bit, but you remember that show 13 Reasons Why?
Oh, yes.
13 Reasons Why, about that, you know, that girl was just tortured and she ended up killing herself. I don't know, kind of all that stuff was in my mind, but I also thought, you know, there's Karens and Evans and and at work, you know, everywhere. In the music business, everywhere. And it's just kind of a like, you know, what's wrong with
life,
what's wrong with you guys? Like, we're just chilling, like, be chill. And also, if you're not, then we hate you probably.
Yeah. I hate those guys.
So, at this point, I'd like to give you guys the option to play a song for the audience. We have 3 left, and I'll put it up here. And would you do the honors of picking one for the audience to listen to?
Honestly, I Hate You, since we've been talking about it.
Yeah, why don't we spin I Hate You, since we've been talking about it.
All right, sounds
if your
great.
audience, yeah, and the samples at the beginning are, you know, you hear the school bell, and then the girls talking are Abby and some of her theater major friends.
All right, here we go.
Oh my God, there she is. What's where? I hate her so much. I'm not doing this today. Let's go the long way. Quick, let's go. Whenever you show up, you always have that look. Point your finger constantly tonight. No one knows where your hate comes from. When I see you,
Yeah.
I hate you.
Awesome. Awesome song, guys.
It sounds so good.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
which one of you is doing the solo bits?
I am.
Awesome.
It's kind of thanks.
I love it.
I feel like I was better when I was a kid, but
You know, we all were better as a kid.
yeah.
But everything I've heard so far, like it really seems to fit the song and take it up a notch. So I enjoyed it.
Awesome. That's the whole point.
Okay. If I could ask, name something that each member of the band brings that is unique to the band. Talk good about each other a little bit.
I would say my theatrical background is something I bring unique because I do have props during the live shows. So I guess I kind of incorporate that bit into there.
I mean, you bring
Yeah.
bring like everything. I'm definitely the band director. I was a band director for 18 years, and like now I just direct 6 people instead of a bunch of kids. So like I try to be the organizer and that type of thing for sure. Heather brings a lot of experience and an intensity to the band for sure on the drum kit, but also on the stage. And it's just great being lifelong friends with her, you know. Lori is a comedian. She actually does stand-up comedy on the
Really?
side, and she does shows
Nice.
regularly. Yeah, she does shows regularly here in the Dallas area, and she's just like, I mean, she's funny, she's fun, she's just a cool chick, you know. Corey is a former student of mine who actually was a percussion student in one of my very early bands right out of college. Yeah. So I knew that she knew, because, you know, they sign up for percussion thinking
Right.
they're going to play drums, and that's not the case at all. They're playing a drum pad, and they're playing a lot of marimba and xylophone for the first year. But so I kind of tapped her, and I always knew she was wearing band T-shirts from the time she was a kid, you know, in middle school. I always remember her going over to the marimba, and she would play that Linkin Park song. Like, and so Corey brings she knows so much about so many different bands and so many different styles. And her and her dad, Mike, both are like can-do people. You would be like, hey, you want to go climb a mountain today? Sure. What time should we be there, man? You know, you want to start a band? You want to start a band? I'm there. I mean, literally, like that's literally like their vibe and what they do. So like,
That's awesome.
yeah. And Mike, oh man. So our ages go from, he's not here, so I can talk about him. He looks a lot younger than he is. He's actually 62. And
wow.
so our age range is Abby 20. The 3 of us that went to high school together, we're all 49, 50-ish, pushing 50. Corey's in her mid-30s, early 30s, mid-30s. And then Mike is 62. Mike knows everything there is to know about Kiss and Priest. Everything.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah. So, man, everybody is just, and it's not an accident. Like, it's not, we just, like, these are the people we found on the street. Like, these are people that the 3 of us, the core 3 of us, were like, this person, because they're cooperative. They're like, they will follow through. They'll be there. Like, the people that are in this band are no accident.
Heck yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is really awesome. Well, speaking of people in the band, let's talk about your fans for a minute. You know, Kiss had the Kiss Army. Slipknot's got the Maggots, and just recently, I've noticed you guys posting. You got the Abomaniacs. Let's talk about it.
It's so funny. Like our first show, a lot of my relatives came in from out of town, and I have a whole bunch of nieces, and they're all like around the 17 to 20 age group, and all this. They came in from New York, they came from DC, and they just went crazy at our first show and everything. And I don't know, it's kind of a takeoff on the Animaniacs or whatever. It just kind of works out. Yeah, just kind of works out. I don't know how official it is, but yeah, we call them Abomaniacs.
I like that.
We definitely need that on a shirt.
Nice. Well, guys, it's coming time to head to the conclusion of this podcast. We really appreciate you guys coming on here, and I'm hoping to come out for the Houston tour, and I can buy a CD and stuff, and maybe y'all could sign it for me. So that would be pretty cool. So no.
Make him clean up after the band.
I'm gonna have to go hide until after the show. But yeah, man, y'all. I try, if any of the bands I interview come close to me, I try to make it out there so I can actually, meet you guys one on one, and I mean, it's just a different experience. So, yeah, no disease. The guy in the comments said, make him sing. No.
Well, hey, guys, if you make it to Nashville or Memphis, I'll definitely be there if you make it to Nashville or Memphis. And I'm not shy about the stage, so you can call me out all you want. Man, there's such a lot of people don't realize it. They think it's all country music. There's such a growth right now of a rock movement in Nashville. It's unbelievable, bro. Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we want you guys out here.
All right, guys. Well, that's a wrap on today's episode. If none of you have anything else, y'all go to Instagram. Go follow Awaiting Abigail. Yeah. Right. Well.
And we're official Abomaniacs.
Yes, absolutely.
So, a big love to the band Awaiting Abigail for hanging with us and sharing their sound and stories. Y'all go check them out, support their music, and until next time, keep BSing, but do it with soul. Peace. All right, guys.